There's one truth about trading that never changes, not in my time, not in yours, not in any time where men and women gather around a market ticker and try to outsmart one another. The market is human nature displayed in numbers, and human nature doesn't change. Greed, fear, hope, impatience. They've ruined more traders than bad analysis ever will. You want to improve your win rate? Then stop thinking about winning trades and start thinking about times good trades. Because a good trade can lose money, and a bad trade can make money, but only one of them will keep you in the game long enough to see real success. I've seen men make fortunes in a single week and lose it all the next because they confused luck with skill. The market doesn't care how smart you think you are. It rewards discipline, not emotion. When I started trading as a boy in the bucket shops, I wasn't smarter than the next man. I just learned to observe. I watched how prices moved before they made big runs. I noticed that when a stock broke through its old high, it often kept going. I noticed how quickly people's moods shifted 1 hour. Everyone was bullish. The next, panic. It taught me something vital. You can't beat the market until you understand yourself. Traders today have faster screens, algorithms, AI, and access to every chart imaginable. But the enemy remains the same times you. Your impulses, your need to be right, your refusal to take a small loss before it becomes a large one. If you want to win consistently, master your emotions first. Your mind is your greatest tool and your greatest trap. I've had great runs, legendary runs they called them, but I've also been broke more than once. Every time I lost, it wasn't because I didn't know how to trade. It was because I broke my own rules. Success in the market is not about finding new secrets. It's about following the same old truths that no one has the discipline to obey. Here's the first one. Never average down. Never add to a losing position. It's the quickest road to ruin. If you buy a stock and it goes against you, that's the market telling you you're wrong. The first loss is the best loss. Most traders can't take that they hold and hope, but hope has no place in a trader's vocabulary. The market punishes hope and rewards conviction. Cut your losses without hesitation, and you'll save both your capital and your sanity. The second truth, sit tight when you're right. The biggest money is not made in the buying or the selling, it's made in the waiting. When I caught a trend, I didn't scalp for small profits. I waited for the full swing, but most traders today can't do that. They close winners too early and let losers run. They do the exact opposite of what works. If your analysis is right and the market confirms your position, have the courage to let it ride. Another thing, avoid the noise. The modern market is louder than ever. News alerts, social media, endless opinions from people who couldn't trade their way out of a paper bag. In my day, the ticker tape was enough temptation. Today, it's a full-blown circus. The crowd always loses because the crowd always acts emotionally. The moment you start thinking like them, you're finished. Trade your own plan, listen to the tape, not the chatter. And understand this, your win rate means nothing without risk management. You could win 7 out of 10 trades and still go broke if your losses are too large. Or you could win only 4 out of 10 and grow rich if your losses are small and your winners big. The math of survival is simple. Cut your losses quickly and let your profits run long enough to cover them many times over. That's how smart traders win consistently. Every time I lost heavily, it was because I violated that principle. I let pride get in the way. I wanted to prove I was right more than I wanted to make money. You'll face the same temptation, the need to justify your trades. Don't. The market doesn't care about your ego. If you're wrong, admit it and move on. The sooner you can do that, the longer you'll last in this game. Let's talk about patience, the rarest commodity on Wall Street. There's always another trade setting up, always another opportunity just around the corner. But the difference between a professional and an amateur is timing. The pro waits for the market to come to him, the amateur chases it. When you chase, you're reacting, and reactive traders always pay the price. I used to say that money is made by sitting, not trading. And it's true. The time to buy is when the market confirms your idea, not when your emotions demand action. If you can sit through boredom without forcing a trade, you've already separated yourself from most participants. Waiting is work, it's just not exciting. But in trading, boredom pays. There's also something else most traders forget: position sizing. Your win rate doesn't matter if one bad trade wipes out months of gains. Never risk more than you can afford to lose on a single position. Think in percentages, not dollars. If you lose 10%, you need 11% to get back to even. Lose 50%, and you'll need 100% just to recover. Protect your capital as if it were oxygen, because without it, you can't breathe in this game. One of the hardest lessons I ever learned was this: sometimes, the best trade is no trade at all. The market spends most of its time going nowhere, consolidating, confusing, shaking people out. You must learn to recognize those periods and stay out. Save your ammunition for when the odds are in your favor. Remember, the goal is not to trade often, but to trade well. When I made my biggest fortune, I wasn't glued to a screen. I waited. I studied the tape until I could feel the rhythm of the market. Then, when the right moment came, I acted decisively, no hesitation, no fear. That's how consistency is built. You can't improve your win rate by trading more. You improve it by trading times better, quality over quantity. Now let's talk about human psychology. Every trader thinks they can handle pressure until they can't. You'll find that the moment you have money on the line, your logic starts to melt. You'll see what you want to see. You'll hold on to losers longer, and you'll second-guess your winners. That's why discipline must be mechanical. Don't rely on your feelings, rely on your rules. If your plan says to cut a trade at a certain point, do it automatically. Emotion is your enemy. Systematize your discipline before greed and fear destroy it. And don't fall for the illusion of constant action. Some traders believe they must always be doing something, but trading isn't about activity, it's about timing and accuracy. The more you trade, the more chances you give the market to expose your weaknesses. Trade selectively. Let other people provide the noise. You provide the precision. There's another trap: revenge trading. You'll take a loss, and instead of stepping back, you'll jump right back in, trying to get it back. That's the market's way of testing your control. If you can walk away after a loss calm, analytical, patient, you're on your way to mastery. If you can't, you'll keep paying tuition until you learn. The market has an expensive way of teaching lessons. I've met traders who wanted certainty. They thought success meant never losing again. But certainty doesn't exist in markets. There's only probability and discipline. The best traders lose, but they lose well. They lose small, they lose fast, and they lose without emotion. Then, when the odds swing in their favor, they win big enough to cover every mistake. That's how you build consistency. You don't aim to win every trade. You aim to manage every trade well. Focus on process, not outcome. Every trade should have 3 numbers before you enter: your entry, your stop, and your target. If you don't know all 3, you're gambling, and the market always takes from gamblers. Here's a piece of advice most won't tell you: you will never control the market. The only thing you'll ever control is yourself. Once you accept that, trading becomes simpler. Not easier, but simpler. You stop fighting reality. You start flowing with the trend instead of trying to predict its every move. Trend following isn't glamorous, but it's profitable. Don't fight the tape, align with it. I used to watch people try to pick tops and bottoms. They wanted to be heroes, to catch the exact turning point. That's pride, not trading. You don't need the top or the bottom to make a fortune. You just need the middle, the meat of the move. Let someone else fight for the first and last eighth. I was never greedy enough to care about those. And remember, no strategy works forever. Markets evolve, and so must you. Adaptation is survival. But don't confuse adaptation with impulsiveness. The foundation: risk management, patience, discipline, those never change. The tools might evolve, but the principles don't. When you go through drawdowns, and you will, don't lose faith in your method too quickly. Review your trades. Were you following your rules or your emotions? Often, it's not the system that fails, it's the trader. Consistency is built not on genius, but on obedience to your plan. And when you win because you will win, don't let success make you careless. The most dangerous time in a trader's life is right after a big profit. That's when overconfidence sneaks in, whispering that you've cracked the code. I've lost more money after my greatest wins than after my worst losses. Stay humble when you win and disciplined when you lose. The market will always find a way to humble those who forget who's in charge. Let's talk about records. Keep them. Every trade, entry, exit, reason, result. Not because you enjoy paperwork, but because data keeps you honest. Patterns will appear. You'll see what works, what doesn't, and how your emotions shift. Without records, you'll repeat the same mistakes, each time thinking it's something new. With them, you'll grow. There's another truth: simplicity beats complexity. The best traders I've known, including myself, didn't clutter our charts with a dozen indicators. We watched price, volume, and trend. The more complicated your analysis, the more excuses you'll have when you're wrong. Keep it simple, and your mind stays clear. So, how do you improve your win rate? Not by predicting better, not by adding more indicators or watching more news. You improve it by eliminating errors. Stop trading when you're emotional. Stop adding to losers. Stop chasing trades. Stop ignoring your stops. The fewer mistakes you make, the more consistently you win. You don't need to win every time. You just need to avoid the kind of mistakes that take you out of the game. That's what consistency is built on: the avoidance of ruin. Most traders fail not because they can't find good setups, but because they can't survive their bad ones. Protect yourself first, profit second. Every market cycle, a new generation of traders believes it's different this time. But human nature hasn't evolved since the ticker tape days. The same patterns repeat because the same emotions repeat. Your task is to rise above them, to be the observer, not the participant in the crowd's madness. If you want to win consistently, make peace with the idea that losing is part of the process. You're not aiming for perfection, you're aiming for mastery. Mastery is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that no matter what the market does, you'll respond with discipline. And that's the final truth. Trading mastery isn't about money, it's about control. Control of your impulses, your greed, your fear. Once you have that, profits become inevitable. Without it, no strategy, no system, no guru can save you. So, the next time you sit down to trade, don't ask, how can I win more? Ask, how can I trade better? Because the better you trade, the more often you'll win, and the more you'll keep. The market rewards patience, punishes pride, and exposes every weakness. But it also rewards those who respect its rhythm, follow its laws, and master themselves. Improve your discipline, and your win rate will follow. Improve your patience, and your profits will grow. Improve your self-control, and the market will have no power over you. That's how smart traders win, not by luck, not by prediction, but by consistency of character. The market isn't a mystery, it's a mirror, and what you see reflected there is always yourself.